Over 200 episodes.
Yep.
Years. 4 years to do the video show.
That's right.
Archie finally breaks through.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Hey, welcome to iFanboy, the comic book discussion show, weekly. I am Josh Flanagan. I'm here with...
I'm Ron Richards.
I'm Connor Kilpatrick, and we're doing a show today. We talk about comic books.
Yay!
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 That's what we do.
Talk to me about your feelings about comic books.
No!
Okay.
We like to occasionally talk about books from our collection. Just sort of give
Our
a brief
library.
rundown of books we like from our shelves or closets.
Books you might not have heard of, books you might be
Yeah.
curious about, you're not sure if you want to read. You know?
We should really have a graphic for this segment.
We really should, yeah. With the sound effect.
When it explodes.
Yeah, like and a door opens.
Yeah. Am I up first? Am I up
And
first?
so why don't you kick us off?
All right, we kick us off. So this is a book in the patented, long tradition of iFanboy of Christmas gifts of Connor buying me books that I won't buy myself.
Yes.
What
else is Christmas for?
Exactly, which is great because I really had no excuse not to buy this book. It's called. It says JSA up top, but it's really called The Golden Age.
Yes.
And what it is it's one of the storied Elseworlds tales.
It was a
That's because you wouldn't buy it otherwise.
It was a 3-issue prestige miniseries. They're prestige size.
Yep.
And they collected it in this
collected it and they rebranded it with the JSA to kind of fall into JSA.
But it's Elseworlds.
It's
not,
Elseworlds,
not
yes.
DCU. It's out of continuity.
Written by James Robinson, art by the fantastic Paul Smith, who we don't get nearly enough art
He
from.
did it's X-Men, right?
He did the X-Men, and he did Leave It to Chance with James Robinson in the late 90s.
He's very good.
He's really good.
This is pre-Starman.
Yes. So what the Golden Age is James Robinson, as we know, he wrote Starman. He's current,
He wrote JSA too.
Well, I'm gonna get there.
Sorry.
He's currently at DC. He's been doing stuff like Superman and Justice League of America. But in the early 2000s, he did a run on JSA with David Goyer and with Jeff Johns.
Yep.
He has a strong affinity for the Golden Age characters.
He
Well,
knows
it's very
them.
clear.
The
Yes,
current
yeah.
book that is running now, they rebooted it. They restarted it. So the reason why you have
His
it now is
fingerprints are
James
all over it.
Robinson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was really his first entry into publishing something that celebrated the Golden Age the way it did.
He loves it.
Loves the Golden Age.
And he's literally the guy who's had the best handle on it of anything
Yeah.
I've
I
ever
think
read.
that's true,
In
yeah.
a modern sense.
Yeah, this picks and it picks up from the history of like Roy Thomas and the All-Star Squadron and all that sort of stuff, like carrying through that appreciation of DC's roots. This is interesting because it is an Elseworlds tale. It's a little off from what really happened, but a lot of the characters, I mean, it's not that far off.
No, it's not like
it's a little diversion.
Elseworlds is like, what if Superman was Green Lantern? This is more like, we'll just twist it a little bit.
It's just a
Because
story.
they just don't want the editors to have to deal with the fallout of this, but
Right.
it's not like now Green Lantern's an alien.
But it's a fascinating story. It focuses on that time period after World War II when basically the society turned on the heroes. When
the Red Scare.
Yeah, the Red Scare, when the mystery men had to go away and that sort of thing. And
The Watchmen, basically.
Yeah, basically. But and it picks up on that. So you get a lot of those classic JSA characters like Johnny Quick and Liberty Bell and Flash and Green Lantern. Alan Scott plays a big role in this, the original Green Lantern. But what you have is a hero who was nobody in the time of heroes, goes to World War II, and because he doesn't have powers, is a hero and gets celebrated when the war ends, becomes a senator, becomes a high-powered senator, and creates a new hero, and turns out it's which is awesome.
That's the best ending to any possible story.
And what you have is you have a bunch of heroes who are in retirement or in hiding who come out to basically stop this from happening. So you get folks like Alan Scott, Green Lantern, you get Liberty Bell and Johnny Quick play a role. Manhunter, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Not having a memory and slowly getting it back. I read it in one night.
Well, I
It
remember.
was
It's been a while since I read it, but I remember great fight scenes.
Yep.
Remember a great big battle.
Yep.
Great twist when the plot's revealed. I mean,
Yep.
I just remember this is one of those great plotted books.
Yeah.
It's supposed to, the characterization is good too, but I remember the plot.
Just knowing that it doesn't spoil it because there's specific things that I don't want to ruin for you that are just like, oh, awesome.
What's funny is that I borrowed these issues from you,
Yep.
and I read them out of order.
I remember you didn't like it.
And I was like, it didn't make any sense. Like, I don't know if it was marked weirdly or what, but like I read like the second one and the third one and then to the first one. I was like,
this doesn't make any sense at all.
this is terrible. But it looked really good.
But so this totally plays on that whole America communism fear, like 50s, and pulls in the Golden Age heroes, and it was and Paul Smith's art was just, there's some double page spreads that are just like so memorable.
It's
like,
very clean, and it's the right style of art.
Yeah,
it's that. I want to say like Dave Gibbons.
It's classic.
Or,
it's very classic.
But also modern because it's very rendered.
It's like Dave Gibbons, Kurt Swan-esque, but it's been in modern style.
Yeah.
So just fantastic. This is almost like, I'll go as far as saying that this is required reading.
No, it's one of the best ones.
If you're reading the JSA at all, this is a great way to get to know those characters.
Yeah.
Even though it's out of continuity, they're pretty close to what. It's just they've added new characters that weren't there before.
Well, I think they picked up these characterizations going forward.
Yeah. I mean, it lays the groundwork for what is the JSA is now.
Mm-hmm. Well, since James Robinson wrote this and he rebooted the JSA pretty much.
But I think it's interesting is that this story, like, yes, while it isn't canon and isn't continuity, it totally could be, because it's just a tale of something that happened, and so. But yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. So thank you for getting this for Christmas. I loved it. So it was awesome.
That's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier, Archie. I don't think we've ever talked about.
We've never talked about Archie
on the video show. Yeah. We talked about.
I'll tell you something. Before. If the downloads spike on this episode, you're going to get
a lot
more
Archie all the time. Sabrina the Teenage Witch next week.
Hey, now that they dropped the code,
Sonic.
So this is a collection of
the
Archie wedding stories. Now, if you listen to our audio show, I did talk about all these stories.
Yes, which was quite amusing.
Last year, there was too much fanfare. There was Archie told some future tales where. Let's just take it back and I'll explain. In this story, this is written by Michael Uslan. You may know his name from he produces the Batman films, and drawn by Stan Goldberg, the great Archie artist. Very in that Archie style, which is unmistakable. So in this issue, Archie is. He's reaching a turning point in his life. I believe it's graduation. Yes, it is.
Wow.
So he decides.
Finally.
He decides one night after graduation he's going to take a walk down memory lane. And in doing so, he remembers very, nice memories of the past. He decides, you know what? I've never walked up memory lane.
So simple.
So he walks up memory lane.
You can do that?
This is the street. Memory lane is a sign. He walks up memory lane and he goes into the future. And sees his life in the future, where he's married to Veronica, and he works at Lodge Industries, and he wears a really bad suit, double-breasted, and he's, very stressed out, but he's happy with Veronica.
Middle management Archie.
He's very much middle management Archie. He's stuck in Lodge middle management, and he's got a briefcase, and then he has kids with... basically, it's just a story of what would happen if he ended up with Veronica. He has kids with her. There's a bit of tension at the wedding because will Betty show up? Will Betty show up, and she reconciles with Veronica? Good time to have. They have kids. Good time to have it by all. So
is he happy?
But he's pretty much happy. So then he
got money.
He comes back out of the mist onto memory lane again and says, "Wow, that's great. Hey, I never noticed there was a fork in the road of memory lane before." So he goes on the other fork, and this is where he just chooses Betty.
I love this.
And with Betty, the thing with Archie is they could never have him choose because there's hardcore Betty fans, there's hardcore Veronica fans, and they can't piss them off. You get kind of the sense that he's happier with Betty. But they can't say that. Betty and he move back to Riverdale. She's a teacher at the school. He becomes a teacher at the school. They don't have all the wealth that he has with Veronica, but they seem a bit more happy. They have the same issues like with Veronica. But she's also kind of happy on her own high-powered life in Manhattan. And then they had kids, and it's kind of the same story, but you see how the details would change, and it's sort of the payoff that you're never ever really going to get in Archie comics, in that what would happen kind of way. But
I love an Archie what if. That's fantastic.
But also, one thing that makes this unique is this is a thick book. It's basically a continuing story, which Archies don't normally do. Yeah. Normally, Archie goes down to the store, gets a hamburger, and something funny happens. Yeah. And then there's like 14.
Now, do I have to read anything in order to read this?
Where do I need to start?
Is there any research I have to do?
No, and actually,
this was the continuity.
This was so popular that they have spun these stories out into an ongoing, which is unusual for Archie. They don't do that. Yeah. So the current books, Life with Archie, tell the two different stories,
which is awesome.
They tell one of each.
That's
in
nuts.
A book.
I love it.
That is crazy.
The insanity of Archie is fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
I like this format, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a very modern.
It's digest size.
Yeah.
It's more for like manga-esque.
Nice
style.
color.
Here's the
Will
important.
You marry me?
Here's the important question that we're all dying to know.
Sure.
Betty or Veronica?
I was always a Betty guy.
I'm not surprised. Betty or Veronica?
I honestly don't even know.
Rich brunette or sort of spunky girl next door blonde?
I was a blonde.
He's a Betty guy.
Yeah, probably.
You're Veronica.
Yeah.
You're totally Veronica.
Yeah.
But no, this was great. I was at Archie.
I was thinking of Karen from Good.
We all went quiet as we thought about it for a second.
Yeah, ponder it.
I've always been a fan of Archie. As a kid, I read him in junior high school. I had tons of Archie comics all over my storage unit, but this was a nice return. I hadn't really read it in a while. It was nice to sort of come back and see, what would happen if he goes, they're very nice stories.
I love the walking up memory lane. It's just such a simple device. And
nice
it's
paper.
My favorite part is noticing the split in memory lane.
Yeah.
I never noticed before that there was a fork in the road.
It's missed.
It's kind of it's a metaphor. So, I don't know, it's nice. Betty, will you marry me in front of the whole town? They're all excited because they,
from Pops.
From the Pops. And Pops dies tragically of autoerotic asphyxiation.
Really?
No. I should have mentioned that earlier. I don't know who told Archie to wear
I got a question.
green suit, black shirt, sort of brown tie.
Oh, wow,
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Wow.
But no, it's fun. If you like Archie at all, if you've ever read Archie, this is a total... it's fun for if you've ever
walk up memory lane.
It's relatively cheap. It's fun. It's a good story.
Cool.
So much so that I'm going to get into the other ones.
It's a little emotional.
It's very emotional.
Yeah, not as emotional as
I don't know how about the length of that dress, though, for the wedding.
Yeah, I know. Betty made an interesting wedding dress choice.
Betty is a slut.
They have the same face.
They all do.
Oh.
Just cover the hair up, and you don't know which is which. This is what Archie does in bed.
Yeah, exactly.
He just makes Veronica put a blonde wig on sometimes.
Put this hat on. Next up.
Another emotional tale.
Another emotional tale.
In a different way.
Yes.
In a different way.
This is almost nothing to do with the Golden Age. There's no way that any of these books are connected. We really did.
We've thrown the theme.
I think we drove the theme into the ground.
Yeah, that's true. We're going to talk about the Daytripper collection from Vertigo, and we've talked about this before, but now the trade is out. It's available. It's nice and thick. It's all, is it 10 or 11 issues? 10 issues?
10 issues.
Yep.
All in one place.
Although on the crappy Vertigo paper.
You know what? And this actually brings up we're going to talk about this because this.
It transcends the paper. I understand.
Not only that, but like we are lucky that this book exists.
I know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So if the price if the price is cheaper paper, that's fine. Okay. This was a series that came out last year by Fabio and Gabriel. A couple of brothers.
The brothers
are from Brazil, and what it is a series of issues that explores the life of one guy, Brás. I don't know if you pronounce the S. I don't know how Portuguese works.
They say it a lot sexier than that, I bet.
They do. And when you say it, you're like, wow, back my neck is tingling. I don't know what that's about. Sexy is in town. And at first, it's funny because when this book was solicited, you didn't know what it was. No. So you read the first issue and you're like, this is interesting. And then it's the story of a guy and he dies. Yeah. And then you're like,
first issue, I was like,
what's this going to be? And then you read the next issue, and it's the story of the same guy, but it's not exactly the same, and then he dies.
Younger.
I think he's like 30-something in the first issue, and the second issue he's like 18 and he dies, and then you're like, what the heck is going on?
And so on. And in that way, it's sort of a treatise on life.
We called it comic book jazz in the audio show, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a riff on this guy's life, every issue, different ways.
And every issue sort of just explores like this one aspect of life and the things you should be appreciative of, whether it be love or family or friendship or personal work, satisfaction, things like that. And it's sort of ethereal and it's sort of heady and it's poetic and it's lyrical. It's not a workaday life kind of story. This is not a slice of life kind of thing. And actually, by having them be foreign and having it like take place not in America,
it takes place in Brazil too.
It gives you that other quality, but also has that sort of universal human experience kind of thing.
And it's interesting because Fabio and Gabriel over the past couple of years have kind of risen to prominence. They as artists on like the Umbrella Academy and Casanova,
but in that fringe way.
But but the thing is that they've been making comics for years and they've done stuff on their own. But this is really the kind of first time this is their own thing. I can't tell you who wrote or drew what. Yeah. Like they completely have melded into just one thing.
One unstoppable unit.
And it's amazing. And the look is consistent. The art is consistent, and the story are just so touching, and so several stories rendered you to tears, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about this a little bit in our Comics That Make You Cry episode, but really as a whole piece. I remember when it was coming out, I was like, I don't know how this is all going to hang together. I don't know how this is going to read together as a trade. There was something special about buying it in issues, but that is not a reason to not go back and buy the trade later.
It's still just a special.
I love how authentic it is. Yeah. I mean, it's
very real.
It wears its heart on its sleeve, and it's not ashamed of it.
But I mean, just art-wise, the guys are from Brazil. This place looks like Brazil. Yeah. And the towns, the cities look different than American cities. The people look different than typical super comic book people look. I mean, they look Brazilian.
Yeah.
I mean, we know some Brazilian, and he looks like our friend Albert.
Yeah.
And they look. It looks. I like that. Feels completely different than a normal experience.
And the other great thing is that that Fabio and Gabriel have had many beautiful women in their life, because the way they draw some women and the looks and the passion and stuff that come across. And I mean, like there's the one issue where he's older and he's married and he's got a wife and a kid and he's away traveling and he's leaving romantic voicemail messages for his wife, and it's just like, oh, does it get any more?
You kind of fell in love with him a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah,
then there's the one where he's younger,
and he meets the girl in the supermarket,
yes,
and the look.
yes.
Oh God, it was great. Yeah,
and then so like it kind of talks to everybody, because even among us, like, we've all got pretty different life experiences that are happening, and in here there's always an issue that's will speak to one of us about one thing. We'll all pick out a thing. There's the issue with his father. There's the issue with his son. There's the issue with his wife. There's the girl. There's the sea witch lady. Yeah. And there's the one with his best friend.
Best friend and his job. And all life avenues are explored here.
Yeah. And to be honest, these are some of the most unique and best artists to come on the scene in a while. Nobody looks like them. Yeah. Nobody is doing art like that. Nobody looks like them either, though.
Yeah, nobody looks like them.
But the art really is something special, and it's got that loose feel. Like, I just see like somebody taking a pen to the page, just be like,
yep.
And it's there. Whatever it was that you wanted is there, and it's not overly thought about or anything. And I think the colors on this,
Dave Stewart.
Dave Stewart.
Yeah, because prior to working with Dave Stewart, they only did stuff in black and white or one color and black. Like with Casanova, it was like that bluish tone. Then on Umbrella Academy, one of them was forced to work with Dave Stewart, and now they love color, but only by Dave Stewart. So.
Who can argue with this?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the guy, and it's a major part of it is the way that it all works together. And I didn't know what to expect, and it's not like anything else. I can't say, if you like this, go read this.
It's not like anything else I've read.
It is one of the best books of 2010, hands down. I mean, it was a high.
A great surprise.
Yep.
We all loved it. We weren't expecting it. I remember reading the first 2 issues and going, "What?"
Yeah, and it's an example of what Vertigo does really well.
It's an example of what you can do with comic books that are not what people think of very well. Whereas the Golden Age, it's superheroes. Superhero stuff really, really well.
Right.
This is another thing.
Yeah, this is a different type of story, but it's giving a creator a platform to tell their story, which is
a series of 10 stories which are somehow linked, and
thematically linked.
Yeah, and that was nice. It was very nice. It was a good experience.
That's one. I wish they would do like a larger. Like, I would love to get like an absolute. I know they never will, but
that goes back to the paper, and this is something that's really like. These are the kind of books that I love, and they're going to become more rare, or at least more, they're not going to be coming out from the corporations.
See, the papers are because the color's muted. It's not like it's not popping with nicer paper. The color scheme was always sort of, I don't want to say dreary, because that would do disservice to it, but it was always a muted tone to it, which I think the
glossy paper wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
I would think.
But you can do a high quality matte.
Ain't gonna happen.
20 pounds.
I
don't know if you saw the look that he was like, Matt.
Anyway, so these are 3 books that have been gracing our shelves that we have enjoyed. If you enjoyed them, go to iFanboy.com. There'll be a post about this where you can talk about it and share your thoughts on Betty or Veronica.
If you want to talk to us, you can do it at contact@ifanboy.com.
That's an email.
As email, if you're just waking up from a
coma. You could have voice to text. I don't know.
Or call our voicemail line 888-FANBOYS 326-2697. Leave us a voicemail. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Go to twitter.com/ifanboy and you'll be able to follow when we put up stuff on the site or things that are going on. And you go to ifanboy.com/about and you can see other ways to follow us on Twitter and social networking and stuff like that.
And iFanboy is member supported, so go to ifanboy.com/store and sign up for a membership and get free stuff in the mail and be eligible for giveaways and just be a cool person.
Do your part.
Yeah, exactly.
Do your part. You like this? Do your part.
Well, you really could just throw a wig on. Throw a wig on Betty and suddenly she's Veronica. Best of both worlds.
No, Veronica's got a smaller mouth.
I didn't think you were going to say that.
3, 2. 3, 2.
Derp. Sorry.
3, 2.
Lion face. Moonfish. Okay, 3, 2.
You motherfuckers.
Get you a fucking shine box.
Okay, 3, 2. 3, 2. 3, 2.
Next up.
Butterfingers!
3, 2.